Hey there, you looking kinda cute. Please consider subscribing and check out our Patreon for more. Enjoy the video. When I was in my teens, I had started borrowing clothes from my mother instead of buying my own. I have no idea why I decided to give it a shot the very first time, but I did. I have always had a strong fascination with her wardrobe, and I have always found it fascinating to observe how she gets ready for a night out with my dad. The thing about her leggings that I liked the most was how smooth they made your legs feel and how shiny they looked when they were on. I thought they were the cutest thing ever. If I was home by myself for a short period of time, I would sneak into my parents' bedroom and eagerly try on some of her dresses and a pair of her pants. If I was home alone for an extended period of time, I would do the same thing. When I was dressed in her clothes, I experimented with some of her makeup one day when I had a little bit more spare time than usual. I experimented with some of her blush and her red lipstick. I didn't come out looking all that great, but I had a lot of fun experimenting with it, and I absolutely adored the way it smelled. After trying on some of my mother's clothes for a few months, I finally came to the conclusion that I required clothing that would be more suitable for a girl of my own age in terms of fashion. Since I had an older sister, I knew that I could take my cross-dressing to the next level by borrowing an entire outfit from my sister's closet and wearing it when I went out in public. I was required to wait for a night when both of my parents and my sister would be absent from the house for the entirety of the evening. When it was finally time for me to get dressed, I went into my sister's bedroom and rummaged through her closet until I found the outfit I had been looking for. The skirt was a pale blue color, and it was paired with a silk blouse and a blue jacket for the finishing touch. I did so by placing it on her bed and examining it. It was an outfit that would make any girl's dreams come true because of how pretty and feminine it was. I was always green with envy whenever my sister wore it, because I had seen her wear it so many times before, and I loved the way it looked on her. Today would be the day that it would finally be my turn. I made my way over to her dresser and rummaged through its drawers until I located the one that houses her undies. I also retrieved a pair of white tights from my closet, which I remembered seeing my sister wear. When I ran them through my hands, I couldn't get enough of how they felt. They had a velvety texture, and they glistened with a brilliant sheen. I had everything spread out on the bed, and for a moment I stood there and looked at the ensemble as a whole. As I changed my clothes preparation for my transformation, I couldn't contain my excitement, and my hands were shaking from it. After placing my legs inside the pants, I picked them up and slowly pulled them up to my waist. I do this several times. I was immediately aware of how differently they felt on my body compared to the cotton boy underwear that I normally wear. I adored how they were cut to sit a little higher over my hips, which gave the illusion that my hips were somewhat larger and therefore more feminine. The rear of the pants were more form-fitting, which gave the appearance that my derriere was rounder and more feminine. I put the bra on over my arms and then fastened the clasp in the back. It was made of satin and was very light, which meant that it did not provide a lot of support. I sat on her couch and began to climb into the white tights by first pulling them up my legs. When I had them pulled up to my waist, I slowly pulled any loose slack out of each leg so that they would fit snugly on my legs. This ensured that they were a good fit. I got back on the bed and put both of my feet into the skirt before sitting back down. I stood up and began to slowly pull the skirt up to my waist. After that, I reached around the back and pulled the zipper up, and I could feel the skirt getting more snug on both my hips and my waist. I buttoned the blouse in the back, tucked it into my skirt, and then slid my arms into the sleeves of the blouse. When I looked in the mirror, I couldn't believe the changes that had taken place. After locating the perfect pair of blue footwear that complemented my look, I eagerly slipped them onto my feet. The shoes were sleek and stylish, with a thin heel that added a touch of elegance to my look. However, as I stood up and took my first steps in them, I couldn't help but notice that they felt a bit more challenging to walk in than the usual flat shoes I wore. Undeterred, I pulled the straps forward and secured them in place. As I glanced down at my feet, I couldn't help but feel a sense of pride and satisfaction at how well they matched the rest of my outfit. The shoes were the finishing touch that made me feel like a complete and confident young woman. With my footwear taken care of, I quickly donned the matching jacket and prepared to leave the room. But just as I was about to exit, something caught my eye on the top of my sister's dresser. It was her makeup, which she had used earlier in the day. Suddenly, it dawned on me that I had forgotten to complete my transformation into a fully fledged young lady. I hesitated for a moment, unsure of whether I could pull off the makeup routine that my sister had mastered over the years. But then, I remembered the countless times I had watched her apply her makeup, and I decided to give it a shot. I took a seat in front of the mirror and began by applying a smooth, even base made by CoverGirl all over my face. As I worked on my eyes, I carefully applied a gradient effect with eyeshadow, starting with the lighter shade on the upper eyelid and gradually transitioning to the darker shade below. I then applied several coats of dark mascara to each of my lashes, working slowly and meticulously to ensure they appeared as long and thick as possible. Next, I added a touch of pink blush to the highest points of my cheeks, which helped to draw attention to my cheekbones. Finally, I outlined my lips with a bold red pencil, filled them in with a soft pink lipstick, and topped it all off with a glossy lip gloss. When I finally looked at myself in the mirror after completing my makeup routine, I was astonished at how much of a difference it made. Despite my initial concerns, I had managed to pull off a pretty and sophisticated look that I was proud of. I felt more confident and self-assured than ever before. With my makeup complete, I spent the next hour walking around the house, feeling the light and airy fabrics of my outfit brushing against my skin. I practiced walking in my high heels, adding a little bounce to my step to avoid the awkward walk of a boy. I learned how to sit and move like a lady, with grace and poise. Although being a girl meant taking on more responsibilities and keeping more things in mind, I found that the benefits of embracing my femininity were more than worth it. I gained greater self-confidence, and I learned how to present myself appropriately in different social situations. Ultimately, the experience of embracing my femininity has been an immensely gratifying and rewarding one. After a long day of trying on clothes and feeling feminine, I finally had the chance to relax and unwind. I made myself a glass of Coca-Cola. As I sat down on the couch, I grabbed the remote and turned on the TV, ready to indulge in some mindless entertainment. As I sipped my Coke, the bubbles tickled my tongue and the sweetness danced on my taste buds. I couldn't help but feel a sense of contentment wash over me as I sunk deeper into the couch cushions, enjoying the simple pleasures of life. As I flipped through the channels, I couldn't find anything that caught my interest. That's when I noticed something odd. As I looked down at the bright red lipstick that had smudged on the rim of my glass, I couldn't help but laugh. It was a reminder of the transformation that had been taking place within me. It all started as a playful experiment, but now I was finding myself more comfortable in the role of a woman with each passing day. In my dreams, I was fully transformed into a stunning young woman, complete with makeup, high heels, and a dazzling wardrobe. I felt confident and empowered, with a sense of femininity that was both exhilarating and liberating. One night, I even dreamt of myself standing in public with a dress on, admiring myself in a beautiful dress, anticipating my boyfriend's arrival for our first date. As I snapped back to reality, I couldn't help but wonder if this was a sign of something deeper within me. Was I meant to be a woman all along? These thoughts weighed heavily on my mind as I continued to ponder my newfound identity. Despite the uncertainty, I couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement and curiosity about what the future might hold. Perhaps it was time to start exploring this side of myself more deeply. What kind of woman would I be? What kind of life would I lead? I continued dreaming about my boyfriend's arrival for our first date. What would we do? Go to a movie? Would he kiss me at the movie? Or does he want more? Let's find out. Thanks for watching. The rest won't be viewable on YouTube, so check out Patreon if you want more.